We ready?
Yep, we're good.
Yep. All right. Who's your quarterback? How do you spell his name?
Q-U-A-R-T-E-R-B-A-C-K. Quarterback.
More seriously, have you kind of have a theme in mind for this team as you get ready for camp and everything you've gone on this off season? I hear a lot about prove whatever you're trying to prove.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's just something to prove. We've got a lot of ability on our team, and we've got a lot of returning starters, and there's no doubt we have talent. But there's a lot of questions on the games that we didn't finish last year, or the missed opportunities, and so it's really not about talking about how much talent we have, or this guy could have done this, or this guy does this. Let's go prove it on the field. Let's go prove where we're at in year 4 of our program. Let's go prove where we're at with guys like Darius Robinson and Javon Foster and Chris Abrams-Drain. We know they're talented. Let's go prove it on the field.
And you talked about having as many veterans return as you have. We've talked about it before, but what was your reaction to that, and how have you kind of seen them take more of a leadership role as we've gotten through spring?
Yeah, I think now with the new age of college football, each year you got to rebuild your entire roster, and it starts first with retention. And we were able to retain 18 starters, and that's a tribute to everybody in our organization, from culture of the organization to relationships within the organization, that these guys, all 18 starters, returning starters, chose to come back. And then you add through your signing class, through junior college transfers, and then through your transfer portal. And, I was very, very excited. The best recruiting we did was to retain some of the elite players that we have. But those guys also fall in line with, we've got something to prove. It was one thing to have the measurables and the potential. It's another thing to go do it on the football field.
As far as that defense goes, they told me, their goal is to be the best defense in the country. What's your take on that goal?
Well, I mean, you got to set high expectations and then live up to them, but it's not enough to talk about it. You got to be consistent every day. You can't have complacency. You can't be, well, we've got this kind of talent, or these guys are coming back. They all got to be hungry. And I've seen that. Obviously, one of the Ennis Rakestraw weighed in at 193 pounds on Friday, a guy who's doing everything right, from the way he trains to the way he operates on a daily basis. Tyron Hopper is really taking a step in the leadership role, but also just in the way he looks in conditioning and training compared to last summer. Really like the way that Johnny Walker has really attacked his opportunity at the defensive end position. So, fired up for those guys on defense. But, there used to be a saying, talk's cheap, takes money to buy whiskey, and that's kind of my mindset with these guys. There's no doubt that we have the ability to be great, but we got to go prove it.
Coach, where does the edge competition stand at right now? You just mentioned Johnny Walker, but is there potential to see D-Rob move out to outside with all those DTs coming back?
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. He played that position all spring and has been working there all summer, sliding out at the edge. The thing about Darius is he's got position flexibility. He's got the ability to play both on the outside and at the inside. And it's really going to be about week-to-week matchups where we feel like he can best affect the lines of scrimmage. Obviously Johnny Walker's done a really good job. We moved DJ Wesselock back to defensive end, a more natural position for him. We added some transfers at that position with Joe Moore, Austin Firestone, Niles Gaddy. We got the true freshman Ja'Kai Lang, who was there this spring, and then you've got Serene, who came in, and Ben Stratman, a transfer from Missouri S&T. So there's a lot of guys there that are all fighting and hungry and competing, and look forward to seeing how that plays out. But definitely will have Darius in that position. That's okay.
I'm sorry about that. You're heading into year 4. Historical coaches at Mizzou like Don Farrow, Dan Devine, Warren Powers, those are all coaches that really turn the corner in year 4. You're heading into year 4. How do you get Mizzou to turn the corner?
Well, I mean, keep doing the things that we've been doing really well and continue to do them at a high level, and then the things that were not working, we've got to continue to adapt and adjust. And I think we've identified some things that are really good in our process, and sticking to those. Really excited about the continuity that we have on the defensive side of the ball. I think we've got to continue to improve special teams wise. I think adding the depth to our roster. We have 32 players who've started 4 or more games in college football. That's going to lead to more depth for us in the special teams area. We've divided a few of the special teams responsibilities. Coach Link will still be the special teams coordinator, but I'm going to take on Blake Baker and myself are going to be in charge of the kickoff team. Coach Pogue's going to be in charge of the kickoff return team to try to add, just more voices and emphasis on those specific phases of the game. And then obviously offensively, we've got to score more points. I felt like the first 2 years offensively we were where we needed to be, but last year it was obvious to me that I wasn't providing the benefit that we needed to on the offensive side of the ball, and so wanted to embrace my role as the head coach and give up the play calling and the coordinating responsibilities, and excited about what Kirby is going to do and what that offense is going to look like.
I know we're focused on 2023, but I have to ask your reaction to Oklahoma coming back to Faurot Field in 2024. What was your reaction when you saw it?
Not much,
Yeah.
just because I'm really focused on the 2023 season. If we know about anything in college football, the next day is not granted or guaranteed, and neither is the next season. So I'm really focused on what 2023 is, and I know we've got a really good schedule, and the future will take care of itself.
You mentioned it there.
Hey,
what's going on, man?
I thought we said local media. All right, Northwest Arkansas guy,
know
come on
you.
in. Yeah,
I know
you do
you.
know. I know you too.
So, you mentioned next year's never guaranteed.
Yeah.
Being year 4, people expect bigger things.
Yeah.
Do you feel the outside pressure? Do you hear it? How do you deal with that when people are starting to maybe even just quietly question your job?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think anybody puts any more pressure on ourselves more than the players and coaches. I mean, we want to win every game. We're competitive. We all sign up to play for championships. That's the goal every year. And when that doesn't occur, we feel pressure to perform. Obviously, very appreciative of the president, Moon Choi, and Desiree, and the board for extending a contract last year, but we all understand that it's a game-to-game, year-to-year job, and I feel like we're on the right track. I think recruiting shows that. I think the talent on the field shows that. I think the way we've been in games shows that. But no different than our players, myself. We need to put that together with results on the field, and we need to prove it.
How you handling the quarterback battle with Garcia and everything? Day one when you go to practice,
Day one when we go to practice, Brady Cook will step out there with the ones. There's very little doubt about that. I think he's had a really good summer coming off an injury, but no different than every position on the field. There's nothing guaranteed, and everybody's got to battle for their positions. And Jake Garcia has started games, played in college football games. Sam Horn is a very talented redshirt freshman, and they got to go beat him out, but they know it's an open competition to do that. But Brady will have the benefit of being a starter all last year. He's been in the fire. We know what he's going to do under pressure. But we all understand that we have to be more explosive offensively. We got to throw the ball more effectively down the field. And whoever does that the most effective in fall camp knows that they're going to be the guy. No different than the edge position or the wide receiver position or the safety position. Whoever plays the best in fall camp is going to start. That's our core value number one, always compete.
Coach, I got a 2-part question.
You only get one part.
How's the offensive line coming along, and what do they need to do to not only improve, but kind of be what you envision it to be?
Yeah, obviously, you've got a left side that's anchored really strong with Javon Foster and Xavier Delgado, both guys who've started 28 games in their collegiate careers. We're going to move Armand Mimbo, who started 5 games for us last year, the last 4 at right tackle. He's going to slide in to guard. Marcellus Johnson is playing the right tackle position, which is new for him, but he's started 31 games in his college career. And then you've got Connor Tollison, and you've got Cameron Johnson, you got Val Erickson, you got EJ, you've got Tristan Wilson coming along, you got Makai Lee. You got a lot of really good players that are going to be competing for those jobs, no different than the quarterback position. Obviously, Cameron started 16 games at Houston. and he has snapped before, so we're going to let him have a shot at the center position as well as, wherever he fits. It's about getting the 5 best players on the field. We know we have to run the ball more effectively, and we got to protect the quarterback. I mean, last year our quarterback was under pressure. You look at our inability to complete balls vertically down the field, specifically in the bowl game. I mean, our quarterback pressure situation was ridiculous. So we've got to protect the quarterback and give those guys opportunities to get the ball to the playmakers.
Defensively, when you look at Chris Ames, Ennis coming in year 2 is starting on the outside, what's your expectation for them?
Yeah, 2 guys that return. I think they returned 25 pass breakups on the season, which is an incredible number. Obviously, they both played at high levels at times. We need to be more consistent. We need to be dominant at those positions to shut down outside wide receivers, which is going to be a challenge. I mean, in our league, you're playing against really good players, so they've got to really continue to improve. I think having having Drayden Norwood as the third corner allows those guys to go really hard, knowing that they can take a break and he can come in and sub them out for them. But I think the main thing is more consistency. I think there are several times that we gave up plays that we know, we can be better, more challenging in those positions.
You talk about Brady Cook playing through that injury last season. How have you seen him kind of go through rehab with that, and how's he been looking lately?
Yeah, he attacked the rehab, obviously. He was pushing it probably further than we wanted him to in the spring. I think he was anxious seeing other guys compete for a position, and he wasn't able to be out there battling. But he's done a great job this summer being around. Obviously, us having the ability with summer access to watch those guys throw some routes during our individual development periods was really good. But, again, it's going to be about consistently throwing the ball vertically down the field in order for us to be successful.
Sam doesn't have game experience like the other 2 do. I mean,
Yeah.
Can he make up for that with what he does in August?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got the ability to go live in fall camp because of the amount of depth that we have at that position, and that's when we really are going to find out. And I think the other thing, last year I pulled the trigger really early on the starting quarterback, and you look back at a couple of teams last year that went into week 2 and week 3 before they named a starter. So no hurry. I say this to our guys. The starter is going to be whoever reveals it to the team. Like, it's not going to be the coach's pick. Whoever the best player, and all the players will know it. So we'll give it time and see who rises to the top.
Could you play more than one the first game? Like, go into it like there's no
I think so. I think with the way our schedule sets up, I could easily see us playing multiple quarterbacks in week 1 or week 2 if we needed to.
With Luther going into year 2 and just having guys like Theo and Danis around him, bringing back Mookie, what are your expectations for him going into the season?
Yeah, I think the ability to move Luther into the slot position, obviously there was a need created there with the transfer of Dominic. And so Luther will slide to that slot position. Him and Mekhi Miller will really do a great job there. I think that allows them some more freedom in routes. Consistently in our offense, the slot gets the most amount of targets, and so it's easier to get the playmaker the ball in his hands. Obviously, Damo received a large portion of those targets last year, which led him to be named All-SEC wide receiver. That in order to do that, we needed to bring in some guys on the outside. Obviously, you got Mr. Consistent Mookie Cooper. He's had an outstanding summer, trained really hard, and continues to be very valuable and does a great job creating explosive plays when the ball is in his hands. Obviously, Theo Weiss will play the X position. We also have Danis. We've got Peanut. You've got Josh Manning, who's really a big physical wide receiver that looks really good. You got Daniel Blood, and you got Marquise Johnson, and you got Jamarian Wayne. So that's by far the deepest, most competitive position on our team, and all those guys are fighting for roles, whether that's at the wide receiver position or on special teams. I expect that position group to contribute heavily to our success.
I know it was kind of a soft launch of it in spring camp, but what are you excited about for Kirby's offense and what he's going to bring?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a soft launch. It was just installing launch.
Yeah,
but
like pretty
no,
much.
I think the thing that I really appreciated about Kirby, even in the interview process, was there's a similar thought process in how we attack. But obviously, he's calling the plays, so it'll be his design. And he now has the ability with Coach Jones in the run game to really match what he wants to do, throwing the ball protection wise, play action wise, with what we're going to be in the run game. So. Our guys had a really good summer, making sure they understand the different presentation pieces that we'll present in our offense, and so I'm excited about being attacking. I think that's the biggest thing is we've got to be an attacking style offense.
Coach, how much more will the defense have to kind of lean on the secondary while you guys figure out the edge group, losing your top 4 edge rushers?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know that they're going to have to. I think the secondary benefits from the interior. I've always been told that if you're strong up the middle, you got a strong defense. Obviously, we return our top 5 interior D linemen. D-Rob's the ability to slide out. You've got 2 young guys that are really coming on, Marquise Graciel and Jalen Marshall. So our 4 interior players are really strong. You look at our linebacker group with the returning production at Tyron Hopper and Chad Bailey, and the returning number of starts. Both guys have over a career 100 tackles apiece. I think Tyron's about 159, Chad's about 135. So there's a lot of ability to stop the run. It's about how do we create pressure on the quarterback. Again with what y'all saw from our defense, we're an attacking style defense is going to create havoc plays. It's not like it's not like we just rush 4 a lot anyway. So I see that Coach Baker and our scheme can make up for any deficiencies that we have there in the edge position.
Are you going to approach running back as going to be more like committee like you did last year, or try to pick one running back and kind of make them the feature back?
No, I think it'll be a committee approach. Obviously, Cody and Nate coming back. Cody had about 700 yards, Nate maybe 350 or something. So I'd love to get a 1,000-yard rusher, but somebody's got to be the most consistent player. There was a couple of games that Nate really had good games, and then some inconsistencies with ball security. So then Cody was probably the overall down in, down out protection, all that better back for us. Really excited to see what Jamal Roberts and Tavares Jones and Michael Cox can do also at that position. So I think all 5 of them have the potential to contribute, but I think it'll be mainly seeing what Cody and Nate do first.
What have you seen out of Nate that's kind of choosing to come back and then through the spring and summer until now?
Yeah, Nate's had a really good spring. I think he, again, it's kind of like all of us, has something to prove. Obviously disappointed in a couple of plays last year, and I think mentally just having to realize that the past is the past, and you got to move on from it, learn from it, but don't dwell on it. He had an outstanding spring, was the fastest offensive player on our team in the 40s, and so really excited. I think last year when I look back, there were some things early in fall camp that we didn't do. He wasn't healthy, starting the season. So, him being in prime condition, healthy to start the year is really important for us, and right now he is in that.
Coach, I noticed yesterday I was checking on the website. I didn't see Niles Gaddy's name pop up.
You didn't?
Because the SID sucks.
Niles' name's on there. Yeah, the only announcements that I need to make from a roster standpoint are that Xavier Simmons and Chance Looper will be on medical scholarships moving forward, but everything else is as seen.
One thing I want to ask you, on NIL, the commissioner made it pretty clear he's not a fan of all these different state laws. He wants a uniform law. Ideally, would you like everybody playing by the same rules, and in the meantime, you just go with what you can have through Jeff City that you guys have lobbied for? How do you kind of reconcile that?
This morning, whenever I was preparing for this, my wife sent me the Serenity Prayer, which is, I'm paraphrasing, but the serenity, accept the things that I can't control, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I'm just going to focus on the wisdom to know the difference, that I really don't have control over any of those things. And so I'm focused on what's going to affect our team this season, and what's going on for us right now is the Missouri state law. I'm very appreciative to Governor Parsons, Lieutenant Governor Kehoe, to Attorney General Bailey, to Caleb Rowden, our Senate Pro Tem, to the Speaker, Dean Plotchert, to Curtis Gregory for sponsoring the bill, for Martha Washington for last year. I mean, all these people helped us, and so I'm appreciative to them, and we'll operate under their guidance as it is the state law, and go from there.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.